This hearing is officially open. The members of the board are Andrew Hames, Erica Schaub, Richard Pavone, and myself, Robert Peterson, Chairman. From the Department of State is Courtney Nation and CJ Ajoku. We will now hear the scheduled petitions. When you speak, please address the board and give your name, title, and legal address so that our court reporter can have all the information requested. We may have to stop from time to time to consult with our technical staff. In making comments to the board, please provide a descriptive narrative on matters referring to your exhibits to enable the court reporter to enter these into the record. This petition pertains to, actually, the first hearing is in the matter of petition number 2023-0314. The petitioner is April Madigan for the aggrieved party, Christopher Payton. This petition pertains to a detached single-family dwelling. The dwelling is 2 stories in height, wood frame construction, type 5B, approximately 2,430 square feet in total gross floor area. The dwelling is located at 2370 Legion Street, Belmore, Town of Hempstead, County of Nassau, State of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.2.1, titled Elevation Requirements, which for flood hazard areas not subject to high velocity wave action requires that 1, buildings and structures in flood hazard areas, including flood hazard areas designated as coastal A zones, shall have the lowest floors elevated to or above the base flood elevation plus 2 feet, or the design flood elevation determined in accordance with sections R322.1.4 through R322.1.4.1, whichever is higher. 2, in areas of shallow flooding, AO zones, buildings and structures shall have the lowest floor, including the basement, elevated to a height above the highest adjacent grade of not less than the depth number specified in feet, or on the firm plus 1 foot, or not less than 3 feet if a depth number is not specified. And number 3, basement floors that are below grade on all sides shall be elevated to or above base flood elevation plus 2 feet, or the design flood elevation determined in accordance with sections R322.1.4 through R322.1.4.1, whichever is higher. The petitioner wishes to have a lowest floor that is below the requisite base flood elevation and the design flood elevation. Okay. Ms. Madigan, you're up.
Good morning, members of the board. I am actually going to defer to the engineer of record, Mr. Robert Bennett, to present the facts of this case in request of your approval of this variance.
Okay.
Mr. Bennett, thank you.
Robert Bennett with Rapco Engineering, 8 West Merrick Road in Freeport, New York.
Good morning, Mr. Bennett.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, thank you. Tell us what's going on.
I'll give a quick summary of the issues and acknowledge the complaint and address it as best we can. The original construction, it's a single-family split, and it was built in 1958. There's been no change in the building footprint. Even what we did on this project was putting a 2nd level addition and a kitchen expansion, but all on the same existing footprint. There is an existing partial low-level basement, which was original and is still there. It's there's the driveway and the garage on one level, and there is a step down, but there have been no changes, and we don't expect to do any changes, but we just want to maintain that condition. The work was deemed non-substantial. They did have, the previous owner did have some sandy flooding down at the low level. The current owner, Mr. Padden, was not involved with that, but those issues were addressed and taken care of with the storm damage was taken care of with the town of Hempstead. The elevation, there is an elevation certificate, a current elevation certificate on file. I believe it was filed. And the majority of the house is current and compliant with the flood elevation. It's in an area of AE7, meaning that he needs to be at an elevation of 2 foot higher at +9. The elevation of the current basement is below that, is at a +5. Sorry. The lower level is non-habitable. It's going to stay non-habitable. And there are no bathrooms, no bedrooms, and there is a washer dryer down there. I believe there was some electronic equipment, and there was a stipulation, there was a recommendation that be removed, and we acknowledge that that anything material or electric materials or anything of that sort should not be there and should be removed. There was a window well put in, and only for safety reasons. There was somebody is down there, and there is an egress stair, but if there's a fire in the stair, they did want to have a second means of egress. Other than that, there is no changes. We just want to maintain that existing condition. The owner is aware that FEMA does not cover anything, any materials. It is allowed for storage, but belongings, he acknowledges that no insurance coverage is anything for that below that lower level. And there is some finish work, but all that finish work downstairs is now of flood-resistant construction. It's a tile floor, no carpet, and the walls are of dense armor board, flood-resistant material. So what we're requesting is just to maintain that existing conditions. We're not going to expound or expand on any non-compliant conditions, and we just want to maintain the existing conditions as is.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell us when the lower level walls were built out and the finishes were installed?
That was after the previous owner. That was after Sandy, and that was with the previous owner. I think he did do some touch up, maybe the floor, he replaced the tile floor, but and he did, I think he put in some of the new dense armor material in place of some of the drywall that was there. But basically, it's the same basement that was down there since 1958.
So we have as-built plans as an exhibit dated, looks like 2/12/2023. And it shows that as proposed with a recreation room. The partitions are all post-shade in and they're blackened in like new construction. Did you have to legalize that with the town? Is that why it's drawn that way?
I am not sure the status. Maybe April can say that, but these were the as-built. These are the conditions that are there now. The recreation area, probably a bad name for that. We could again, it's going to be non-habitable. There's going to be no bedrooms down there. And I know they are allowed storage, which would not be non-insurable, but if that needs to be maintained as is, I'm not sure the status with the town.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the plans that you submitted with the application for the variance.
Okay.
So I was just trying to ascertain when those walls were built out because they're shown as proposed. So, and the egress well was done by Mr. Payton?
That's correct.
Okay. And a recreation room is habitable space in the state code, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so you're looking for a storage approval only?
That'll be correct if that's the, yeah, if it's recreation is not the term, so it'll be storage area only, and we'll make sure that Mr. Patton is aware of that and complies.
What is the elevation at the next level up, the first floor?
I believe it was +9.
So it's right at the DFE.
At the design flood elevation, yes.
Yeah.
There's a contradiction. The drawings show the lower level at 6 feet. But the elevation certificate says 5 feet. I'm assuming 5 feet is accurate. It's just the building section on sheet A3 shows a lower level finished floor at elevation 6. But the elevation certificate says 5. So our deficiency is
Reading
That, I'm just saying,
7.2.
I see that that is showing that correct. So I mean, if the elevation certificate would govern, so if that says 5, then it should be 5. Maybe there was a difference with the NAVD and the original 1988 designation, which was about 1 foot differential.
that's possible. It's certainly possible.
Yeah,
I've experienced that before.
yeah, they're showing the datum as 29,
Okay.
not 88. Okay.
Years before Sandy, everybody said, what's 1 foot? But now we know that 1 foot is a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like these are conversions here.
We can make that adjustment and correction.
6.1.
Okay.
3 feet below.
Any other questions from the other board members? I'm having concern about that egress window, because if it's storage, I mean, that's really susceptible to flooding if the sill is rather low, based on the photos that I'm looking at now. Do you know how high the sill is above the floor?
It's above the grade. It's above the existing grade.
Like a poor concrete window well. It's flush with grade, and it looks like it's a couple of feet down. And there's a storm leader right there.
Yeah, splashing right on the edge.
Above that, pretty much you're still gonna get the same thing. You're gonna go,
Which window is that?
see that here?
Yeah.
So you would get the
Isn't
same,
that this, Mr. Below? Isn't that this window over here?
it could be, I mean, and I think there's another picture of it.
Also interesting, the gutter going into the,
Yeah.
Yeah, gutter's gonna splash right.
It looks like there's an extension leader there to
Yeah,
extend out, but,
send it out.
and does the window well have a drain at the bottom? Not that it'll
yeah.
be of any help.
This is probably it.
Okay.
Gravel drain.
I mean, either way, you're still gonna get the same thing.
So you think the other window is actually the same height?
No, it's probably a little higher,
Okay.
but I mean, still, if you're gonna get, then you've got the flat actions. Still gonna be.
I'm just wondering why somebody put an escape and rescue opening into a storage area.
That's exactly what I was wondering as well.
Yeah.
Well, there's a washer dry. They do go down there for a washer dry. That's been there before, and obviously it's a new washer and dryer, but that's always been down there. And if somebody is down there, it's just an extra precaution. The intent was not to put a bedroom down there or and the recreation as labeled would, Mr. Patton will be aware that that's for storage and the use of the washer dryer only.
Do we know how the property or the dwelling sustained any damage during Sandy?
We don't have any direct knowledge, but I know that papers were filed with the town of Hempstead, and Sandy hit at about +10. I don't think it was as bad in Belmore, so I don't think it was anything severe. There was nothing on the first level, so anything did happen, it was down in that lower level. Nothing severe, but yes, there was water in there. Yes, there was water in there.
Mr. Bennett, all your mechanical equipment is above the FEMA level?
They're in the garage. Most of the equipment is really in the garage. It's not at that level, correct?
So there's no water issue presently? There's no water table problems? It's not a damp space or anything like that?
I'll let Mr. Patton answer that. If I'm not aware of anything, and I believe it's dry, but I'll let Mr. Patton answer that.
And just to add on to that, any French drain system, any kind of sump pump systems that are in place?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Okay. Trying to make sure I get all my questions fielded. Anybody else? Staff, anybody have any questions?
Where's that outlet? Go ahead to the outlet and electrical panel, which one is showing?
Mr. Bennett, did you hear that question about the outlets?
There shouldn't be any outlets below in that lower level. If they should have been elevated, if anything, but I'm not aware of that, and there.
Taking the two photos, you see it, see the,
Right, I see that one. Yeah, I see the electrical panel, but, oh, there, okay.
in the back, and then one by that top supplier.
There's one outlet.
Well, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you
It's
had asked
difficult.
earlier about the elevation certificate, and they had furnished an updated elevation certificate. I don't know if you have that in your package. That shows the bottom floor of the basement at 5 feet. So
Yeah, I have. That's why I asked that it was contradicting the 6 foot on the drawings. The packet that Mr. Haynes had some markups on it. It was different. So that was the one that was prior,
yeah,
before it was updated. Okay.
there was an older
Okay.
elevation certificate.
Yeah, this one looks like it had conversions. Look, according to the conversions here, the basement is 6.1 and the next floor up is 9.8.
Right, I'm sorry for that confusion, because there is an updated one, Mr. Haynes, that came later.
I can't see that.
That's the link.
Oh,
It
no,
was updated. Yeah.
okay,
You were left out of it.
I guess,
Yeah,
or, well, I didn't that one.
yeah. Okay, if anybody doesn't have any more questions, we're gonna deliberate and we'll be right back.
Excuse me,
Um,
I'm sorry, may I please add something just to verify the existing condition of the basement?
Sure.
So please state your name, please.
April Madigan of AM Expediting,
Oh, okay.
8 West Merrick Road, Freeport, New York, 11520. So to verify that the existing lower floor plan that's on record with the Town of Hempstead Department of Buildings does indicate the exact layout on the as-built plans. I have that set of plans. I can send it to you if as needed. It also shows the washer and dryer was original. It names the space as a recreation room. So the cellar is exactly shown on those original house plans from 1958 as they are in the current condition. And again, the plumbing permits were all signed off in 1958 for the washer and the gas for the dryer.
But that the owner has no intention of using that space as recreational space now?
That's correct. It's purely for storage only. And we'll, again, can update the as-built plans to reflect that to stay storage, no problem.
If there's a decision that mandates storage only, it'll require the municipality to post that on the certificate of completion. So
Okay,
that'll ride with this decision, if that's the path to approval that we have. There's an electric panel in the laundry room. Did we discuss this? Did I miss this? Is this it?
Above that counter.
Yeah, there's an electrical panel and then the heating system or cooling system, I don't know, is gas fed from the top, but it looks like the electrical is coming from the bottom in that photo.
Here's the electrical.
Okay,
So that's
3 feet plus from the finished floor.
about 3.5, yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
It's this heater in the, or air, because you can see the gas coming from up top. So
I don't think that's gas. Is that gas?
that's not, that yellow line isn't gas,
Not necessarily.
all right. They said, they did state there was gas coming.
Okay,
Oh, it could be a gas dryer.
Yeah,
Okay.
That should be at a That should be at about elevation 12 or a few risers up from the main level is at 9, so that should be above the design flood elevation as well.
Yeah, for some reason I don't have that photo.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Not
Maybe
really.
it's in my packet. So that's an air handler. Looks like a carrier air handler, right?
Yeah.
And there's a duct coming off the top. So it's probably electric with hydronic, like water fed.
Yeah.
Is there baseboard heating in the house or is it strictly forced warm air or hot or hydronic?
Did you get that question, Mr. Bennett?
I did. I'm going to ask Mr. Patton on the mechanical on that. I'm not 100% sure.
Hello,
Good morning, Mr. Patton. How are you?
how are you?
Did you
My
get
name's
that question?
Pat. Yes, that there is a radiant heating, radiators in the house.
So that answers your question as far as hydronic, but it looks like it's got some ducted stuff there.
Right, but this is the air handler for the entire house. Is this just essential air conditioning?
There's an air handler down in the laundry room that has a duct feeding through the floor. Does that serve the first floor?
That's the air conditioning.
Yeah, does that serve the first floor? Does that serve the basement?
No, that just serves the first floor.
Okay.
There's no air conditioning in the basement.
There's no air conditioning in the, is there any climatized? Is it heated?
Yeah, I believe it's heated, yes.
Okay. And how is it heated? Just so we're clear?
Radiator, I believe.
So it looks like there's like a manifold in the closet in the laundry room that has all the picks. That looks failing, you know.
Apparently in 2013, I guess after Sandy, there was a gas water heater and boiler installed in the basement. So that's according to the certificates here. Date of all the work that was done.
Okay, so maybe it's all other applicable in the code. Did the code official weigh in on this?
Yeah,
Yes.
did.
You know, the questionnaire,
Um,
in favor of granting or?
I don't think he said that. He just stated what,
Do you believe this petition should be heard by the Board of Review? Yes. Do you support the petitioner's request for a variance? Yes.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
And then no, see, if you support processing this request as a routine variance, if no, please explain. It says to defer to New York State. That's where,
Okay. For the routine,
But the routine,
okay,
yeah.
the state can do a routine.
all right, okay.
All right, hang tight. We'll be right back with a decision, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Um,
Thank you.
and we are.
Good to go. With respect to petition number 2023-0314, Mr. Christopher Payden, the petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.2.1. The board makes the following findings. My screen just froze, yeah. Why is that? Number one, the subject dwelling is 2 stories in height of wood frame construction and is located in AE7 flood hazard zone. The basement is finished and the petitioner is trying to maintain the finishes. Number two, an elevation certificate dated 3/5/2024 indicates that the existing basement floor is at an elevation of 5 feet above NAVD 88 and the base flood elevation is 7 feet above NAVD 88. The design flood elevation with additional 2 foot of New York State imposed freeboard is therefore 9 feet and AVD 88 at this location. Number three, the basement floor is significantly below the DFE, which renders the basement unsuitable for habitable occupancy due to significant likelihood of flooding. That's a design flood elevation. Number four, the petitioner's drawings show use of the space in the basement for a recreation room, a laundry room, and utility space. The petitioner is willing to use the space for storage, laundry, and utility equipment only. Number five, an emergency escape and rescue opening for the basement has been installed. The sill of this window is below grade. Although this window facilitates emergency escape, it also makes the basement space more susceptible to flood water infiltration. Number six, screen froze here. Electrical outlets in pictures of the basement appear to have been installed high above the basement floor. Number seven, the engineer of record and testimony stated that the floor and wall finishes are comprised of flood-resistant materials. And now I'm stuck. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, give me a moment, please. We stopped at number seven. Why is it doing that? Okay. Number seven was the engineer of record and testimony stated that the floor and wall finishes are comprised of flood-resistant materials. And number eight, the local code enforcement official has indicated support for this application. With respect to 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.2.1 and Section R322.2.2.1, the board finds strict compliance with the provisions to the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties and necessary hardship, and would create an excessive and unreasonable economic burden, and would be physically or legally impractical. And the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect Uniform's code provisions for health, safety, and security. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for variances from the provisions of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.2.1, and Section R322.2.2.1 be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. Condition one, any materials that are not flood resistant and located below the design flood elevation of 9 feet shall be removed and replaced with flood resistant materials in conformance with Section R322.1.8 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State. Number two, that the basement shall be used for storage, laundry, and utility equipment only, and this shall be indicated on the certificate of completion that is issued by the Town Building Department for the basement. Number three, that in all other respects, the applicable requirements of the code shall be conformed to, except that flood openings per Section R322.2.2.1 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State may be omitted. I need a motion to approve with these conditions.
Andy, so moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Furthermore, it should be noted that the decision of this board is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans, specifications presented in support of this application. Okay. That hearing is now closed. You guys have any questions?
No, we intend to comply.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay. No. So we have 0429 next, I believe, Tracy Shelsky. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. You ready for us?
I am.
Okay, we're gonna do some housekeeping and then I'm gonna give you the floor.
Okay.
Let's get this link up. This is 2275 Meyer.
Yeah, okay.
No,
No,
no.
This is
This is
Shed.
197
429.
Shaver.
This is 197 Schaefer.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Hold up the wrong one. My fat fingers. Okay, we're on the record, right? Good to go?
Yes, I'm still.
Okay. Second hearing is in the matter of petition number 2023-0429. I have the petitioner as Tracy Shelsky for the aggrieved party, Diana Lessica, irrevocable trust, Thomas Lessica trustee. Okay. Put him. No, that's incorrect.
It's Myron Garibian is the owner.
Why do I have that? Okay. Petitioner is Tracy Shelsky and the aggrieved party is Myron Garibian.
Yes.
Garibian? Okay. My apologies.
No worries.
His petition pertains to a detached single-family dwelling. Excuse me? Okay, this petition pertains to a detached single-family dwelling and an accessory structure on the same premises. The dwelling is 1 story high of wood frame type 5 construction, approximately 2,260 square feet in total gross floor area. The dwelling is located at 197 Shaber Road, Patchogue, Town of Brookhaven, County of Suffolk, State of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.1.4.1, which states, if design flood elevations are not specified, the building official is authorized to require the applicant to comply with either of the following. Number 1, obtain a reasonably used data available from federal, state, or other source and add 2 feet of freeboard. Or number 2, determine that the design flood elevation in accordance with accepted hydrologic and hydraulic engineering practices used to define special flood hazard areas and add 2 feet of freeboard. Determination shall be undertaken by a registered design professional who shall document that the technical methods used reflect currently accepted engineering practices. Studies, analysis, and computations shall be submitted in sufficient detail to allow thorough review and approval. The petitioner wishes to allow the design flood elevation for an accessory structure to be at grade level. And another variance we have for 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, compliance exception 1, provided as follows. Space created in basements may have a ceiling that projects to within 6 feet 8 inches of the finished floor, and beams, girders, and ducts in such space or other obstructions may project to within 6 feet 4 inches of the finished floor. The petitioner requests having the basement of the dwelling with ceiling heights less than allowed. Okay, Ms. Shelsky, you have the floor.
Good morning. We are here seeking relief for an existing finished basement with low ceiling height and an existing patio within the floodplain. The existing finished basement has a ceiling height of 6'4" and a girder height of 6'2". Per New York State Code, this is not sufficient. The space contains a full bathroom, closet, utility closet, and a common room with 3 means of egress, 2 of which lead directly outside. The interior stairs have a clear route of egress onto the first floors, up to the first floor and outside as well. This space is utilized as an ancillary recreation room, not as a bedroom. It is the owner's contention that there is no feasible way to bring the space into compliance, nor is it financially feasible to construct an addition to compensate for the loss of the square footage the family has grown accustomed to. The existing enclosed patio is partially within the Zone A floodplain due to its proximity to Cannon Lake. The structure sits on a concrete slab with patio pavers. The windows and side panels, vinyl and plywood, are removable. The structure is not completely enclosed as the north side is always open. Cannon Lake is a non-tidal body of fresh water with no wave action. We have an open permit with the Town of Brookhaven Department of Environmental Protection, and a Brookhaven Highway allowed for an encroachment easement to be filed with Suffolk County for the structure's proximity to Shaber Road. The Zone A floodplain has no required base floor elevation. However, the structure is compliant with requirements for areas that do have wave action, as the sides are removable and would allow for wash through. And it is constructed of weather resistant materials. Additionally, the FEMA map has not been revised since 2009. In the interim, the Cannon Lake Restoration Project began in 2017. The lake was drained completely, dredged, and invasive species that were clogging the lake were removed. When the lake was refilled, residents north of our property reported cesspool backups. The county then stepped in and reduced the height of the water level by 6 inches. Mr. Garibian has resided at 197 Shaber for 28 years and has never experienced flooding in his yard, nor did he suffer any cesspool issues when the lake level was elevated. I would like to reiterate that this is not a tidal body of water, but aquifer fed, with a sluice at the south end of the lake to allow for drainage under Traction Boulevard to feed Patchogue Lake to the south. We are not in a coastal zone hazard area. We are not in a hydrogeologically sensitive area. We sit 24 feet above sea level. Lastly, Cannon Lake is historically a recreational area. This is an accessory structure built exclusively for the enjoyment of the view. In that vein, the following addresses have structures also within the Zone A floodplain. 196 Shaber, which is directly to the south of us. The main structure with the deck is in the floodplain. 37 Lakeview Drive has a pool with a deck right on the lake, and 11 Cassie Place has a shed with gazebo, also within the floodplain. If you have any questions, I'm ready.
Okay. Let's start with the accessory structure.
Okay.
When was that built?
I'd say about a decade ago.
And it was a pavilion at that time, or was it enclosed?
The way it is now is the way it was constructed. So it is a pavilion right now. The north side never has any wall. The south and east, the two other opposing walls are removable completely. So if there is any sort of storms or anything, there can be wash through. And then the back wall, I believe, is solid. And the back wall is the street side of the structure.
So the north wall is presently open.
Yes.
Is there any intent to close that?
No. There's no intent to change the way the structure is now at all.
So the photo submitted with the exhibit shows some.
Oh yeah, that was just temporary. It's just a frame with plastic, and that comes off,
Okay.
Once the bad weather had passed.
Okay. Can anybody speak on the structural integrity of the pavilion?
The architect could not attend today, but we do have construction plans that were filed. And I believe we were in the process of them being passed by Amina Carr. However, once she realized that we were in the floodplain, I got kicked over to you guys.
So this was built without a permit? And
Yes,
you're in
it
the
was.
process of legalizing it. So the
Yes.
building department's gonna look at all that stuff to make sure this doesn't blow away.
Exactly.
Okay. Can you tell me, what type of bulkhead is at the limits of the lake and how high it is above the water level, if you have that information?
I don't
It looks like
believe,
there's go ahead, I'm sorry.
I don't believe it's a bulkhead. It's just a low brick wall that the owner had constructed.
And the survey says a concrete wall, and then I guess that's it. It runs from the limits of the property line
Yes,
from the north to the south and ties into the side of the pavilion.
yes.
Okay. But we don't know how high that wall is?
It is, I'm gonna say it's under 4 feet. Oh, there is a height on it. It's 4 feet. If you look, concrete wall and then wire fence, there's right before it says wire fence, it says 4 feet with a little arrow pointing towards the wall.
I think I'm looking at a different survey.
Let's
In the
see.
exhibit, is there two?
Do you have the
Yeah,
ability
there were.
to throw whatever you're looking at on the screen, Tracy?
Can I show it on my screen?
Yes. Are you able to do that?
I'm not that familiar with this. I could try.
Here.
You got it?
Are we looking at 8-5?
And we're looking, I've got two surveys here.
Yeah, I think there might be two surveys. That's why I didn't see the height of the wall on.
Yeah, we've gone through a couple of incarnations of the survey.
Maybe on that one. Is this the plot plan or is this the survey? By Mr. Gary Benz?
Yes, Gary Benz's survey. You should be able, you could almost miss it, but it does reference that the concrete wall is 4 feet high.
I don't see that. I see a 4-foot wire fence, concrete wall.
Oh, no, you saw it 4 foot and there's a little line referencing that it's not the 4-foot wire fence, but in fact, the 4-foot concrete wall. See the little line going up? There's a little squiggly. It's not the wire fence that's 4 feet tall. It's the concrete wall.
I mean, I'm pretty good at typically reading plans, but I see 4-foot wire fence and then concrete wall 24.
Yeah, the 4 feet is for the wall, not for the wire fence. The 4 feet is referencing the height of the concrete wall, not the wire fence. Even though it's written next to it, there's a little arrow that directs you up towards the concrete wall.
That's just 4-foot wire fence, right?
It's not. It might be, you might have gotten a bad copy after all of the
Okay.
copying and everything.
Not
But
full,
the concrete wall is 4 feet. I can provide the board after the hearing with, I can email over photos to Lola if you'd like.
Interesting.
There's a listing of materials that were done by House Gardens contractor
Yes.
with
Yeah,
photos.
Yes, that's from when
Is
it
that-
was originally built.
That's the contractor that built the,
Yes.
okay,
You have a question on it? I think there's
no,
some Simpson anchors in there and stuff like that he calls out.
yeah.
Any other questions on that? I'm going to ask you about the,
Has the encroachment agreement been recorded?
Yes. Yes, that was recorded. We're going back a few years now. I got it right here. It was recorded in 2020.
Thank you.
and there's no heat or cooling in there.
Nope.
It's just a patio with an enclosure on it.
Yes.
Allegedly structurally sound, with one open side to be maintained.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on the accessory structure?
Think so.
There was some stuff in the staff summary about whether this was legally pre-existing or not. I want to touch on that.
We did go for variances for our setbacks with the town. That was granted.
With the whole flood zone thing.
I think the petitioner was trying to argue that the building predated the current code, but that argument might not wash.
Okay.
You know, the structure was done without a permit, so.
So therefore, it has to meet current code.
The town would make a determination as to whether the current code applies or a previous code at the time when it was built. So I think the town has ruled that they are going to go with today's code, so that's why the applicant is before you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll go to the basement.
Okay,
Got a bunch of photos in here. I'm not quite understanding all of them, but
I was trying to show ceiling height as best I could. It's an open area. It's enjoyed by the family. Like I said, there's 3 means of egress out of there, which I think, you know, is more than we normally have. 2 of those forms of egress go exclusively outside, straight outside. The 3rd goes up a set of stairs, and when you get to the top set of stairs on the 1st floor, the back door outside is right there.
yeah, so that's the primary, and then you have exterior stair. And where's the 3rd exit you were talking about?
Let me go
It's
back
just
there.
windows, right? You don't have egress windows or anything. So it's the 2.
We have one on the side.
And the primary stair.
Yes,
Okay. You're not installing an egress window, because you have a stair going out to grade, correct?
yes,
Okay. So we have a 6'2" girder, when 6'4" is required. And then we have a 6'4" ceiling height, when 6'8" is required.
yes.
The girder runs right down the middle of the basement. Is there a head height issue at the bottom of the stair at that girder?
No,
Or is it still the 6'2"?
it's still the 6'2".
Okay. I mean, these drawings in this corner of the drawing on A3 shows an egress window well. Detail. Where is that happening? You see that detail?
Yes, yes, I'm trying to match it up to the survey for you.
This one.
It looks like it because it's a square, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it would,
One.
I assume.
I zoomed in, it says, yeah, the one in the lower left-hand corner, I don't know what the orientation is, but it says 2630 casement with egress hardware.
Yeah.
So there's no section detail there, but I'm assuming that's the section with the egress window.
Yes,
And that's being provided, is that existing?
yes,
Okay,
Also, Mr. Chairman, there's a 5'9" soffit.
okay,
Window.
did I miss that?
That was brought up by the commissioner, but it's in pictures.
And where is that on the drawing?
It's not shown.
Is it against the perimeter wall?
Looks like one of them.
5'9" soffit? You know where that is, Ms. Shelsky?
no, I'm not sure where they're referencing that. I'm trying to like run through my memory of when I did the walkthrough there, and I'm not sure where we're referring to.
Can you see that?
Okay, now I know what photos to look at.
Yeah, it's, this gentleman here is by a window.
Yeah.
It's 5'9".
1 second. No matter how organized you try to stay, when you start this, you always end up with a pile of papers.
Wonder if that's by the cabinets here.
Where's that? That's a kitchen.
Yeah. I assume,
Is there a kitchen in the basement?
This all started because he wanted to go for an accessory apartment initially. Now this project has been going on for years. And I do not believe that he's interested in pursuing that aspect anymore. And that will be getting removed.
So what would be the requested use of this basement?
Just recreational purposes for the family, as it's being used for now.
Recreational, habitable space, no cooking or sleeping.
Exactly.
Okay.
is this, like I said, this is-
Yeah, that looks like a soffit under the window, so that would either be,
Is,
well, it's not on the plan, so we'd be guessing, but that would have to go then. Or at least the cooking appliance would be removed.
The cooking appliance could be removed. I still don't see what we're trying. Oh, okay. That dropped down. Yes, that is in the main part of the room across from that kitchen area. Right next to where that gentleman is standing is a means of egress outside. So that's right next to the door.
Oh, okay,
That-
I see a clouded note that says kitchen removed.
Yes.
There's a little bubble there. Okay. These drawings are a little confused. So why is there a 6'8" ceiling height on the drawing? Is it,
Let me pull it up again.
the section shows 6'4". The dimension line doesn't really go to the floor. And then 6'2" looks accurate. And a 2x10 girder, that would need to go up into the floor then, right? Because that would make it a 7-foot ceiling. Right.
Sure.
Someone needs a little drafting help here, which is common. We see this quite often, but you know, for us to come in cold like this and try and understand what's going on.
Yeah, no, I completely
It's
understand.
conflicting information.
I've had a time with draftsmen on
Mhm.
this project. We've gone through, I believe this was the third guy we had there.
Well, don't get Mr. Hames started, but the design professional needs to supervise.
Listen, if
Sorry.
you have it, if you have any recommendations for
existing
me,
conditions.
Yeah, existing conditions, you gotta just
Yeah.
measure right. So definitely the gird is 6'2". It's, the ceiling's not 6'8", it's actually 6'4" throughout.
yes.
Recreation space. There's a bathroom down there. Is there any boiler down there, any gas fired or oil fired equipment? Is
Where,
that in the utility closet?
I believe, yes, that's what is in the utility closet, is exactly that.
Do we know what it is?
Um,
Is it natural gas?
I want to say it's oil.
Okay. I mean, we might condition that to be enclosed in fire rated construction.
That's perfectly reasonable.
You're gonna need carbon monoxide detectors down there and smoke detectors and,
Yes.
um,
If it's not already down there, because I know part of the town's requirements require that as well. And Mr. Garibian has been trying to be proactive wherever he can possibly be.
right, photos look like the lights are flush with the ceiling. What else we typically look for? So the 5'9" soffit is not on these drawings, and I think you mentioned where it is. I just want to make sure I understand.
It's directly across from, so if you see,
Is it the 16-foot dimension string? Is it on that side?
it
To the right of
it
that?
is parallel to the girder. That's where it is, on the outside wall. In that one area.
The egress window wall or the opposite wall?
The wall opposite the kitchen wall. So
Okay,
if you're looking at the
that's
kitchen,
16. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
if you're looking at the kitchen and you turn around and face the other direction, that's where that soffit drop is.
Yeah.
One of the things this plan is missing is the north arrow. So you could
You gotta go to,
reference
you gotta go
directions.
to the plot plan for that.
Well, you shouldn't have to. Should be on every plan.
Yes,
I completely agree with you.
all right.
It is on the first page in his defense, but once you start looking at the plans, it does you get a little turned around.
No defense.
No, I know. I'm trying to be the peacemaker.
Do we know how deep that soffit is?
It's a couple of inches. I'm gonna say it's about 6 inches.
I mean, off the wall, do we know how deep off the wall? It's 5'9" to the floor, to the bottom of it, but how far off
It's
the wall? is
I'm gonna say it's about 1.5 feet deep.
it? Okay.
Oh, okay, that's this one here.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have any other questions. Anybody else?
The 5'9.5" projection,
Yeah,
that's which one? 'Cause this one looks like it's 6'2". Which one is 5'9"?
5'9"
the soffit along
is the soffit.
Oh, okay, all right.
Any other questions,
Is the
team?
exact
I just
5'9"
have one
and a half.
question for the other structure.
Okay, we're gonna go back to the accessory structure. Mr. Pavone has a question.
Can you put on the record that the town of Brookhaven has granted a variance for the structure that's over the property line in the easement area, and that the encroachment agreement was entered into and also recorded?
Yes.
Please
We were granted, a variance by town of Brookhaven. I'm going to stay back in, 21. And, before we went to the BZA, we had gone to highway, and that, encroachment agreement was filed, 3/9/2020. Oh, I'm sorry. I have my grant letter right here. Oh, no, our wetlands permit was given to us October 23rd of 2020.
Is that in perpetuity?
No, we do have to keep renewing it until I can get this building permit and get everything closed out to CO. So I'm gonna have to renew the wetlands permit again because it took us so long to get here. My BZA grant has also gone stale, waiting to get in front of you guys. Of course, the encroachment agreement easement lives forever. That's been filed with the county and attached to the property.
That was my question. I was talking about the encroachment easement, so
That
that's
lives
in
forever.
perpetuity. Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you for that. Okay, we're gonna go talk this out and we'll be back with a decision.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The next case is 0040. Mr. Finnegan, are you here?
Yes, I am here, ready to go.
Okay, we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I did want to just add the one thing, was that the FEMA floodplain maps haven't been updated since 2009. And in the interim, there's been a lot of work on Shaver Lake. So I think if ever FEMA ends up working its way back over, that our lot and this structure might no longer be in the floodplain because of that dredging work and clearing out of invasive species on the lake.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're up on the record? Thank you. Okay, with respect to petition number 2023-0429, Miran Garabian. The petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.1.4.1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1. The board makes the following findings. Number one, in this application, variances are requested for two separate buildings located on the same lot. One request pertains to a patio enclosure that is accessory to the dwelling, and the other pertains to space in the basement of the dwelling itself. Number two, a covered patio structure, approximately 340 square feet in area, is constructed of wood frame materials on pavers over a concrete slab base. Number three, the accessory structure is located in the southwest corner of the subject lot, partially over the property line into town of Brookhaven owned property, which was granted an encroachment easement in perpetuity on March 9th, 2020. Four, this structure is accessory to the subject dwelling and was constructed on or about 2007. It has south rear walls, side walls with glass sliding door infills, and unwalled north-facing side. This construction was performed without the benefit of a permit. Number five, a ferment map from FEMA and sheet C1 in the petitioner's drawings indicate that the accessory patio structure is located within an area adjacent to Canaan Lake designated as flood zone A. Although the zone does not have a base flood elevation associated with it, construction within the zone is susceptible to flooding from the lake. In areas where the flood elevation is not specified, section R322.1.4.1 of the code pertains. Number 6, the board does not consider the patio structure to be legally pre-existing. Number 7, the patio structure is a minor structure that is unconditioned and substantially open or partially open. Being partially open, it would allow floodwaters from the lake to pass through without causing significant damage, provided the structure is properly anchored to the base. Number 8, the petitioner's drawings show finished space in the basement of the dwelling. The basement is to be used for recreation, toilet room, utility, and storage space.
Recreation. It said recreation.
I said recreation.
I'm sorry.
Although photos reveal the presence of a stove in the basement, the drawings indicate this will be removed. Number 9, photos indicate that the basement has a finished ceiling height of approximately 6 feet 4 inches throughout. This does not satisfy the requirement of section AJ 601.3 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State. Number 10, 2 projections below the basement ceiling occur. These are due to a central girder and a soffit enclosing separate ventilation ductwork. The finished headroom at these projections are 6'2" and 5'9.5" inches respectively. 11, marking or painting these projections in a color contrasting that of the ceiling would make persons aware of the reductions and alert them to avoid contact. Number 12, the basement is ancillary to space above, and there is a stairway from the first floor that communicates with the basement. As such, the subject space is part of a single dwelling unit used by individuals who are accustomed to their surroundings, and that the reductions to the height of the ceiling would not have a substantial negative effect on the health or life safety. Number 13, both an emergency escape and rescue opening window and an exterior door in an areaway will serve the basement space. These provide important alternate egress paths from the basement in the event that a primary path via an existing interior egress stairway is compromised. Number 14, installing electrically wired smoke alarms within the basement connected to at least one similar device located on the main level of the building would, if properly maintained, provide warning to persons using the basement in advance of a smoke-related emergency. And number 15, the local code enforcement official has not indicated support for this application and defers instead to the board's determination. So, with respect to 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.1.4.1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1. Now my template is off. The board finds strict compliance with the provisions to the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties or necessary hardship and would be physically or legally impractical. And the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect the Uniform's code provisions for health, safety, and security. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for variance from the provisions of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.1.4.1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1, be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. Condition number 1, that one side of the accessory structure shall be maintained open and no heating or cooking equipment shall be installed therein. Number 2, that the basement of the dwelling shall not be used for cooking or sleeping purposes and the existing stove in the basement shall be removed. Number 3, that projections in the basement with a headroom of less than 6 feet 4 inches shall be painted or marked in a color contrasting to the ceiling. Number 4, that the basement light fixtures shall be recessed flush with the ceiling plane. Number 5, that hardwired smoke detecting devices shall be located within the basement, including in each major ceiling compartment and interconnected to additional alarms throughout the dwelling. Number 6, that the boiler room shall be enclosed in 1 hour fire rated construction with self-closing code compliant opening protectives with suitable dampers if needed for mechanical combustion air. Number 7, that hardwired carbon monoxide detectors shall be installed at each level of the dwelling and also interconnected to additional alarms throughout the dwelling. Number 8, that emergency escape and rescue opening compliant to section R310.1 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State shall be maintained at the basement level. And number 9, that in all other respects, the applicable requirements of the Uniform Code shall be satisfied. So I need a motion to approve with these conditions.
Andy, so moved.
May I get a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Pavone, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion is approved. Furthermore, it should be noted that the decision of this board is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. So I hope you had your notepad there. We had 9 conditions.
Yep, I was taking my notes.
Any questions?
No, it sounds great to me. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Hearing's closed. Have a good day.
Okay.
You too. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Okay, anybody else here on the matter of 2024-0040?
Yes, sir. I'm joined by Tom Lessica, who is one of the owners of the property, and John Condon, who is our engineer.
All right, terrific. Let's read this into the record and then I'll give you guys the floor.
Thank you.
Okay, third and final hearing is in the matter of petition number 2024-0040. Petitioner is Martin D. Finnegan Esquire for the aggrieved party, Diana Lessica Irrevocable Trust, Thomas Lessica trustee. The petition pertains to a variance for an existing detached dwelling, construction type 5B, 1 story in height, approximately 2,737.5 square feet in gross floor area, located at 275 Mayor Place, Town of Southold, County of Suffolk, State of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR, Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1, which states space created in basements may have a ceiling that projects to within 6 feet 8 inches of the finished floor, and beams, girders, and ducts in such space or other obstructions may project to within 6 feet 4 inches of the finished floor. Existing finished ceiling heights and spaces in basements shall not be reduced. Petitioner is seeking a variance to allow ceiling heights in the basement that are less than permitted.
I think maybe we should add a second variance request for that. That is to allow the basement to be without an emergency escape and rescue. We are 310.1 of the residential.
Okay,
We did request that variance in our application.
okay, so we'll get that into the record correctly. 19 NYCRR, Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R 310.1. And that would be to allow
Basement with habitable space without emergency escape and rescue.
okay. Allow a basement with habitable space to remain without a code compliant emergency escape and rescue. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, Mr. Finnegan.
It's almost good afternoon. Thank you for hearing us today. As you know, the applicant is the Lessica family. They are seeking relief to allow basement improvements that have been in existence since the 1960s to remain in place, as well as mentioned for egress relief from those as-built improvements. Just to be clear, we did request both ceiling height and egress variances. The egress variance to permit a stairway with direct access to an exterior door above grade in lieu of an egress window. As mentioned, and I think the record shows that this is a very modest 1-story home. It consisting of 3 bedrooms and a bathroom on the main floor. This basement was finished off soon after the home was constructed in the 1960s, really to allow the family to have living space that was a large family of 8, and this was the gathering space in the home. We've provided some photographs that really can give you the picture for what's there, but in general, it is improved essentially as a family room with a wet bar. There's a bathroom, and then there's utility areas, washer dryer, storage areas as well. There are no bedrooms, there are no cooking facilities in the basement. The current configuration of the basement, there are actually 2 stairwells, one leading up into the main part of the house, and then another stairway that leads into an enclosed porch off the back of the house. At the very top of that stairway, as you can see in the photographs provided, there is a door exiting to the exterior of the home. As to the basement renovations themselves, we have submitted photographs as well as affidavits from 10 family members and friends who have been in the home over the last 50 plus years, and they all attest to the fact that the improvements as you see them have been in existence over that entire time period. The renovation to there was a garage addition, and that porch addition is a more recent renovation for which the CO was granted in the early 1990s. And obviously no issue was made as to the basement improvements at that time. So as for the egress, we would submit that the available stairway that exits out into that porch with a door immediately there at grade is provides a safe means of access from the basement, arguably easier to leave or egress from the basement than a egress window would be, climbing through a window well and up the stairs. So we believe that the alternative of having to raise this house or dig out a foundation to come into compliance with the required ceiling height is just not feasible, either financially or practically under the circumstances here. And so we are asking the board to grant relief to allow these improvements just to remain as they have been for over 50 years, and to allow that existing egress to suffice for the code compliance. If there's any questions, John Condon, as I said, is here. I believe Tom Lessica is still here. He had a work commitment that he had to attend to, so he may be in and out. He has been on hold since 11 o'clock, but happy to address any questions the board may have.
Okay, thank you very much. That stair into the screened porch,
Yes.
was that built when the porch was created, or was that an outside stair at the time?
So there were stairs that went up to a Bilco. It was originally a Bilco door.
Okay,
And, in discussions with the town on how to work this, and it was suggested that Bilco be removed and it be finished off as you see it, to create that safe means of egress.
and that screened porch was, if I heard you correctly, done in early 1990s?
Early 1990s, yes.
And at that time was the basement was finished, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so then that outside stair at the time became an inside stair.
Yes.
And the secondary means of egress was made non-compliant. Would that make sense?
Was made non-compliant? Is that?
Made non-compliant because now
With the Bilco, would have been compliant?
to go out directly outside, it would have been, yeah.
If it was finished. If it was finished, no.
If what was finished.
If the basement was finished, Bilco doors are there.
Yeah, so the Bilco doors was your emergency egress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But they're not, but a Bilco door can be locked from the outside, so.
A Bilco door is a permitted means of egress. I mean, I have one of my own, I think this stair is better than that, but
Yes. this
you're
is-
actually going into an interior
Yeah.
space and out before. I just wanted to try and see when that thing was built, if it existed back then. Okay.
Yeah.
The photos that we have in the exhibits, are those recent? Are those old photos?
So there's a couple of series of photos. There are some older photos that you'll see that we submitted just to show, that was at the time that the construction was done for the addition, for the screen porch. We submitted some photos. The most of the photos though are more recent photos, just to show the board what the current improvements are, that, and they really are pretty consistent. You can see that the photos from the 90s show, even at that time, what you see is rather dated. Nothing really has changed much down there from the original construction. But the family did try to dig up photos as far back as they could. But we also submitted those affidavits just to confirm that, this has been what it's been pretty much since day one.
All right, so going to the plan, I don't see this bar or kitchenette area. I don't see any of that on the plan. Does that still exist?
Yes, it does. As the photographs show, what you see in the photos is exactly what is there now.
Well, that's why I asked if the photos were old, because the plans don't reflect what's in the photos.
The plan, it looks like that the bar is over on the left side, I'd have to say, because there's no north arrow on the plan,
Yeah.
once again.
So there's a bathroom, a three-piece bath, and there should be the sink dishwasher counter area along that wall between the door to the porch and the bathroom.
Yes,
That would be my guess.
yes,
And then the
that's
other
correct.
bar,
Yeah.
the old stooled bar, I don't know where that
That,
is.
that looks like it's right here.
Under the
because you
girder?
have your beam, your girder.
Oh,
and
okay.
your post there,
Okay.
which is, that's a good place for it, actually. Because you can't walk under the girder.
Oh, but that's habitable space in the plan shows storage. That's a habitable use,
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
You want to use the basement for what type of use? Because the plans say uninhabitable storage.
Yeah, that is not correct, obviously. I mean, basically the use is as you see it in the photographs. It is,
You want
all they're looking to do is
habitable
just
living space.
maintain the existing, sort of a recreational space for the family.
Okay. So in that case, the projection at 5.9 is troublesome to me. I don't know about any other board members, but that's right in the middle of the living space. I know you have the bar there, that helps a little bit. If that's where the bar is. So that helps from people circulating underneath the low beam.
Yeah, one of the things it does is we're always trying to close in the area to make like a door type opening under a low beam.
Yeah.
And the bar helps to do that a little bit.
The bar is only half or a quarter of the length
Yeah,
of the room.
Yeah.
well, actually, almost half that area because it's
I see
going
this,
over
yeah.
here.
So we have Mr. Condon with us?
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Hello, John.
Good, how are you?
Okay.
So I have
How you doing?
a question on the girder. It's a 3 2x8 girder. I mean, is it
Yeah.
catastrophic to get that thing up a little bit? Maybe at the middle or where you would circulate underneath it?
I mean, we could probably do it flush. It would just, I just don't know what's above it, utility wise, if there's ductwork or, wiring or anything like that, but we could look into doing that, certainly.
Just to speak on behalf of the owner, I think the ceiling is the cedar, right? So you'd have to redo that
Looks like it,
probably.
yeah.
What about putting an emergency needs to be was window in this section?
I'm talking about the 5'9",
No, I don't realize that
I mean, just on the one side,
on the one side, on this side, to prevent them from.
running towards the exit and taking their head off.
Right.
Yeah.
Might be less expensive.
So Mr. Pavone is suggesting I guess it's this, let's say it's the south side of the beam towards the primary stair. One of those two windows having an emergency escape and rescue opening over there.
And the other thing would be opening up the wall that goes into that utility storage area. So if somebody's stuck in that one area where the heating system is, and that goes on fire, that they can't get past it, they're able to go around the interior stairs to get out.
It's a possibility. So, Mr. Condon, what do you think? An emergency escape and rescue opening or the girder flush would be more expensive?
We don't have a site plan that indicates what landscaping or what's there.
Yeah, I think it would be difficult to put in, I mean, it's difficult but not impossible to put in an egress, but I think if there's nothing above the girder, I'm guessing you guys want to flush it where it's on the left-hand side of the drawing there, that 5.5 foot span there. Is that what you're?
I mean, I'm speaking for myself, I would be somewhat okay with 6 feet in contrasting paint. So if you wanted to put a piece of steel up there or something to get 3 inches or 4 inches, do I have my math right? 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 4 inches. That cuts the 2 by 8s in half though. I don't know if you could do that for that 7 foot fall length. Just to have a free flow of circulation without having the 5'9". And then maybe
Yeah,
have a little.
it is. Yeah, it is pretty low.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, a steel beam could be an option, drop beam or something flush, as long as there's nothing above it.
I mean, if you're speaking on behalf of the owner, I mean, if they're amenable to getting it up to 6 feet minimum,
Yeah,
I'd be inclined to make that
hi, this is Tom.
condition.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, hi, this is Tom Lessica, and appreciate you taking the time with us today. So, if I'm following the discussion, there's a space between the 2 lolly columns. One lolly column is adjacent to it's actually built into that island, and the other lolly column is actually closer to the closet under the stairs. And I guess, John, we would need to work with you to see what's above that, but if we could raise that, and put a steel I-beam, and at least get the 6 foot clearance, we would be amenable to that. But to John's point, we would have to understand, are there any mechanicals? But obviously, if that is part of the solution, then we're willing to work around that to solve the issue.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Okay, appreciate the guidance.
And that's the lowest projection, right? The 5'9". We have a ceiling height variance for the bathroom, and then there's a platform in the bathroom that goes to 5'10" and a half. And then we have 6'5", 6'7", 6'7". Okay. Is there the furnace, is that oil or gas? Usually a furnace indicates oil, right?
It's natural gas.
Natural gas and water heater as well?
Correct.
Okay, are there smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors at the lower level?
Yes, as we initiated the process, it was requested. So we actually have a monitoring system, and then we have integrated smokes that if any alarm goes off in the house, all 5 or 6 would kick off the enunciators.
Okay, great. Anybody else have any other questions? Did the CEO weigh in on this? Do we know if he weighed in at all? He or she? It's Mike Verity. Mike's pretty thorough. So he didn't opine. He left it. No.
So are we, what are we doing with the emergency egress?
You have any further questions to talk about?
Granting a variance.
You go to the top of the stair and you make a beeline to the right and you're out. As far as rescue, same thing, you come back down. Do you want to do something at the top? Is that?
Yeah, what isn't practicable though, so.
Well, I think in the photos, there's a half wall, a cedar half wall. It's not a full wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you come to the top of the stairs, there's actually two exits. There's a French door to the right and a sliding door straight ahead. So there's actually two doors immediately on top of the stairs once you exit the basement.
Yeah. I personally don't have a problem with it, but you're a fire official, so if you have a concern, please weigh in. And is there things we can do there that?
I don't see what you could do there
Put up a sign.
to make it any,
I mean, we've done stuff in the past where there'd be a sign outside the rescue. You could do that. So if there's an emergency call and the fire department can't get through the front door down to the stair, they can.
Is there a alert system that alerts firefighters?
I mean, it could go
No, the
into the CAD system
The only,
for the
right,
house.
the only thing you do is notify, give
Yeah.
the, first responders incoming that there is an internal stair in the rear of the house in the, den area or whatever. That's about it,
Like an
which
entrance,
would be. a
entrance to
bad idea.
basement.
that would be like on the record with the fire department.
Right, once the address came up, it would come up
Yeah.
with that information.
Gotcha.
Is there a light outside that door? Is there an exterior light fixture?
Yes, and we actually just installed a motion centered light as well. So it's either by switch or it could be by motion. Yeah.
Great.
Is there anything highlighting the stairwell on the inside? Is there a light above that?
Well, there's no
Yeah.
door, so it's
Yeah.
pretty evident. Once you come in the door, it's right there.
So if the, just hear me out, if there's a fire down here and it's coming up, you're not gonna notice that that's there, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's not a separate tenant. It's whoever's in the house is familiar with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
You go the other way.
But, lighting is important so that the interior should be lit properly and the outside should be lit properly. So,
So what I can share for the benefit of the board is that we do have exterior lights, motion detector. The enclosed patio area has two lights as well, and there are recessed lights in the basement. So all areas internal are lit. And as I said, we have a motion sensor light outside that's also on a switch.
and 3'2" is okay with you? For the width of the stairs, 3'2".
That is,
Yeah,
but it's an emergency egress, right?
Yeah.
So you have a stairwell that you can,
yeah.
that's.
We don't have a first floor plan, but
Yeah.
CJ, I think you go right up the stair and you turn out?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's all good.
okay.
I'm seeing lights in the basement that are not recessed. Look like fluorescents.
You have surface mounted lights on the ceiling?
There were two, and I was listening into the earlier session, but if we're going through the process of lifting that beam in the middle, then we would be amenable to remove those surface mounts and put recessed in their place.
Okay,
Great.
all right.
Disparity between the 6'7" in the storage area and the 6'5" and that's the difference.
You gentlemen get that?
Probably,
Probably because the tile on the floor and the cedar on the ceiling, right?
yeah.
Does that make sense? You don't have that wood tongue and groove on the ceiling of the storage room, right?
No, it's still
So
just
that's the
open beam, correct.
Okay, see,
Ceiling heights were off slightly due to finishes.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Could
All right.
I address one question that came up because in evaluating the options, we did also take a look at what it would take to do egress. There's finished walkway outside the windows, so that was just some additional data point to the earlier question. There are some other structures outside the window that would have to be removed.
So I have a question or a statement. So what happens if the cost factor on the beam modification is too expensive, but yet you could potentially do a modification or add a window well in another area, would that be an option for you? Or would you have to come back to the board?
I don't see where you could add it.
I'm just looking at options, that's all. So if it doesn't work, what do we do then?
I mean, we could put it in our decision. Is that something that we've done before?
You
Give them an option
give
for
an option
compliance?
for,
Yeah.
Termination, yes, to do either.
But I think the discussion back and forth was that there was really no opportunity to put an egress window in.
Yeah, I mean, you have one on the side here, you're going right into the walk-in driveway. This is the front of the house.
Yeah.
Probably a bad place to put it too.
Mm-hmm.
Prime is they had one before.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys, hang tight. We'll be right back as quick as we can.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much. Thank you. Raven guy. What do you say?
Hmm?
You're not gonna be here next month?
I won't.
Oh.
I mean, I'll be on.
Virtual?
I'll be
Okay,
virtual.
that's
but
great.
I'll be in person. Sorry, I'll be at the conference.
That's fine, because I don't think Peyton will be back. So then we'll be down to 3 if you're not.
Why? Just because he has broken ribs?
Is he getting surgery?
You have surgery.
He
All
had
right.
it
Well,
already.
hopefully he's here.
He's got a month to heal.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be hybrid. I already
Okay.
talked to Lola about it.
All right. Okay, we're back on the record. Are we recording?
Yes.
Waiting for the cue. Okay. Can you guys hear us okay?
Hey, sorry, one moment. This is the court reporter. My backup is just disconnected. Give me one moment to reconnect and then we can get started.
No problem. Just let us know when you're ready.
Okay. Okay, ready when everyone else is. Sorry
Great,
about that.
thank you. No problem. Okay, with respect to 2024-0040 Diana Lessica Irrevocable Trust, the petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section 310.1. The board makes the following findings. Number 1, the dwelling that is subject of this determination has a basement that is finished. Number 2, the basement layout in drawings show a utility room, a toilet room, a laundry alcove, and a large habitable room for recreation. Number 3, there will be no sleeping or cooking in the basement as per a note on the drawings. Number 4, the finished ceiling height throughout the basement will not satisfy the 6-foot 8-inch allowance of Section AJ 601.3 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State. Number 5, the main central girder projects below the finished ceiling plane of the basement. This basement projection has a minimum finished headroom of approximately 5 foot 9 inches. Number 6, 5 foot 10 inches is about the average height of an adult male according to the anthropometric data published in the NFPA Life Safety Code. Number 7, the petitioner has offered to raise a portion of the central girder to achieve a minimum 6 foot headroom. Number 8, painting projections in a color that contrasts to that of the ceiling will call attention to the obstruction and alert persons to avoid the low headroom condition. Number 9, the primary means of egress, egress in this layout would be from the basement up an interior set of stairs to an exit door without having to pass through habitable rooms on the upper floor. Does that read correctly?
Um,
The primary.
We
mean-
don't have a
Oh.
layout. of-
We don't know. To an exit door.
We
Why
have
don't you put a
photographs.
why don't you put a period after exit door
Yes.
and delete the rest of it?
Okay, I'm gonna reread number 9 for the record. The primary means of egress in this layout would be from the basement up an interior set of stairs to an exit door.
Okay.
Number 10, there is a
No,
second,
wait. Then you have to leave in the sentence that says an emergency, an opening for emergency use is not included on the plans.
I'm just, am I changing my findings?
No, you were deleting the rest of this sentence, but leaving in this last sentence.
We modified that. So you want to go back to what?
Okay.
Okay, number 9 stands as read. Number 10, there is a secondary means of egress consisting of a stair leading up to an enclosed porch with an adjacent door leading to grade. Number 11, installing electrically wired smoke alarms within the basement connected to similar devices located on the main level of the building would, if properly maintained, provide warning to persons using the basement in advance of a smoke-related emergency. And number 12, a carbon monoxide detector is required at this level due to the presence of natural gas-fired boiler in the basement. So with respect to 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R310.1, the board finds strict compliance with the provisions to Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship, and would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which ensure the achievement of the code's intended objective, or in light of alternatives which, without a loss in level of safety, achieve the code's intended objective more efficiently, effectively, or economically, and would be physically or legally impractical. And the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect the Uniform Code's provisions for health, safety, and security. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for variance from the provisions of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section 310.1, be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. Excuse me, I gotta take a drink here. Number 1, that electrically wired smoke alarms shall be installed and maintained throughout the basement in accordance with Section R314 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State and connected to similar devices located throughout the main level of the building. Number 2, that the 2 means of egress from the basement shall be maintained. Number 3, that the basement shall not be used for cooking or sleeping. This shall be stated on the certificate of occupancy that is issued by the authority having jurisdiction in this matter. Number 4, that the main central girder between the 2 lolly columns, the 7'4" section, be raised to provide a minimum 6-foot headroom above the finished floor. Number 5, all basement projections below 6'4" shall be marked or treated with contrasting color to highlight the low headroom condition. Number 6, the wall at the bottom of the primary stairs shall have an opening to allow passage through the storage room. Number 7, all ceiling lighting shall be recessed flush with the ceiling. Number 8, that the boiler equipment shall be enclosed in 1-hour fire-rated construction with self-closing code-compliant opening protectors and suitable dampers if needed for mechanical combustion air. And lastly, number 9, that the basement and its stairway shall conform to all other applicable requirements of the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, including but not limited to the requirements for carbon monoxide detection and handrails. Need a motion to approve with these conditions?
Andy, so moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Pavone, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Furthermore, it should be noted that the decision of this board is limited to the specific building and application before it, as contained within the petition, and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. So there you go, guys. We had 9 conditions. Any questions?
No, can you just, can I ask you to repeat number 8, please?
Number 8, that the boiler equipment shall be enclosed in 1-hour fire-rated construction with self-closing code-compliant opening protectors which is like a door, and suitable dampers if needed for mechanical combustion air.
Thank you.
Are we gonna get a report back from you guys?
You'll get a formal decision. I
Okay,
think we're running probably 4 to 6 weeks, I think.
okay,
All right.
all right. Thank you.
So approve with those conditions. You're welcome.
Appreciate
Have a
the
good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good day.